shockwaves have been sent across the global financial ecosystem as a result of Japan's recent decision to develop a digital yen cryptocurrency that is built on the XRP ledger. This extraordinary acceptance by a major economy is not only a technological advancement, rather it marks a fundamental shift in the manner in which value and currency are moved across international national boundaries. The dollar has been the dominant currency in global banking for several decades, but as a result of Japan's ambitious approach, the XRP ledger is now in a position to threaten that supremacy. Today we will discuss the entire breadth of this master plan, the reasons why politicians in the United States are scurrying, and the implications that this has for investors all around the world. Now is the time to take action if you have been looking for a definitive indication that the value of XRP is likely to skyrocket. As a result of the impending deadline of July 15th, it is possible that the time to take action is now. The narrative starts with SBI Holdings, a financial heavyweight in Japan that has been discreetly advocating for XRP for a number of years. The chief executive officer of the corporation made a public declaration that XRP is Japan's national cryptocurrency, indicating that the country has a significant amount of institutional backing for the cryptocurrency. There is more to this than just hype. With the use of automated teller machines and payment networks, the State Bank of Japan (SBI) is actively integrating XRP into Japan's financial infrastructure. If you were to go up to any ATM in Tokyo, instead of withdrawing traditional yen, you would receive digital yen tokens that were seamlessly created and traded on the XRP ledger. Could you imagine this happening? Due to the fact that it has reached this degree of integration, XRP is transitioning from a speculative asset to a fundamental currency in the digital economy of Japan. The United States Congress is apparently in a state of crisis mode, whereas Japan is moving on with confidence. There have been emergency sessions where legislators are dealing with the consequences of Japan's acceptance of XRP, according to recordings that have been leaked and reports from insiders. They are not without reason to be concerned. The action taken by Japan poses a risk of undermining the status of the dollar as the reserve currency of the world and has the potential to divert enormous transaction volumes away from financial railroads that are controlled by the United States. It has been claimed that lawmakers are contemplating taking prompt legislative action in order to counteract this change. However, the specifics remain unclear. As the clock ticks down toward the deadline in the middle of July, it is very evident that there is a level of fear. In recent days, the deadline of July 15 has emerged as a central concern for investors in XRP. It is speculated by some with knowledge of the industry that this day will set off important adoption milestones and maybe regulatory clarification, which might release enormous institutional investment. At this point, if you are in possession of XRP, you should position yourself to take advantage of the anticipated price spike. A significant number of retail investors are still ignorant of how important this date is, and if they do not take action right now, they may lose out on one of the most significant upward rises in the history of cryptocurrency. The approach that Japan is doing to embrace XRP is backed by several collaborations between the government and the commercial sector. Furthermore, in addition to SBI Holdings, major Japanese banks and payment processors are conducting pilot projects for XRP-based payment networks in order to enhance operational efficiency and decrease transaction costs. The nature of the XRP ledger, which provides settlement times that are almost instantaneous and costs that are extremely cheap, makes it a perfect contender for a national digital currency platform. XRP is gaining legitimacy as a sustainable and genuine digital asset as a result of this practical advantage, which is driving increasing adoption of the cryptocurrency. This action is being monitored quite intently by other nations and organizations all across the world due to the fact that it is being carried out. If Japan's digital yen on the XRP ledger truly proves to be effective, it would provide a tremendously important precedent for other nations who are contemplating the use of central bank digital currencies, often known as CBDCs. The advantages of XRP, which include speed, security, scalability, and cost-effectiveness, are, to tell you the truth, rather appealing. This is especially true when you compare them to older systems which are slower and more costly, respectively. An effect similar to a domino might be triggered by this, with a number more nations following Japan's example, with riches propelling XRP directly into the center of the global financial system. In all honesty, the repercussions for investors are really significant. It is conceivable that the price of XRP will reflect this expanding popularity and utility, and it is possible that it may hit new highs in the months to come. The comparison to the emergence of Bitcoin over the past decade is, to put it mildly, kind of unavoidable, yet the capability of XRP to offer real-world use cases such as Japan's digital yen might potentially fuel even quicker growth. In addition, for those individuals who have been skeptical regarding the future of XRP, Japan's master plan is a very definite proof point that XRP is much more than simply a speculative coin. Rather, it is a currency that has a quickly developing ecosystem and substantial worth. In the meantime, investors from the United States should exercise extra caution. A clue that regulatory clarity is on the horizon is the panic that is occurring in Congress. Yet this panic might also signal that further limits or interventions are being implemented in order to slow down the momentum of XRPs. On the other hand, regulatory clarity frequently serves as a catalyst, releasing vast pools of institutional capital that have been sitting on the sidelines. Maintaining a high level of awareness, keeping a close eye on legislative changes, and becoming ready to take prompt action when the regulatory environment becomes more transparent is the most effective technique. This new breakthrough has already generated a lot of attention in the cryptocurrency and social media circles. The possibility for a significant increase in price is being brought to light by influential individuals, experts, and fans of XRP in the days running up to July 15. Data on wallet activity reveals an increase in the amount of XRP that is being accumulated by whales and institutional players, which indicates that there is a strong belief behind the scenes. The increasing momentum of the community has the potential to speed up the network effects that are responsible for driving both pricing and uptake. The bigger macroeconomic dynamics are happening against the backdrop of this tale as it begins to unravel. Traditional fiat currencies are being challenged by inflationary pressures, global currency fluctuations, and altering monetary policies, all of which are driving investors to look for alternatives to these currencies. The requirements of a globalized economy that is striving for robustness and efficiency are ideally aligned with the distinctive position that XRP has as a bridge currency that is both quick and inexpensive. The action taken by Japan strengthens the role that XRP plays as a hedge and strategic asset in a context of constant change. However, in order to take advantage of this opportunity, regular investors need to take action. It is important that you educate yourself on the XRP ledger, that you comprehend the deployment of the digital yen in Japan, and that you are ready to raise your XRP holdings before the deadline on July 16. Staking tokens and liquidity providers that are connected to the XRP network are examples of complementary assets that may be included in your portfolio to diversify it and increase its potential for profit from the growth of the XRP ecosystem. To obtain the most recent information and perspectives, it is important to maintain connections with reputable news sources and community channels. As we get closer to the end of this in-depth exploration, it is important to keep in mind that XRP is no longer only a cryptocurrency utilized by enthusiasts. As time goes on, it is emerging as an essential component of national financial systems. With Japan's master plan, XRP has the potential to be transformed from a promising digital asset into a mainstream financial powerhouse. This is a possibility that cannot be discounted. Investors, regulators, and members of the cryptocurrency community as a whole will all find the upcoming months to be extremely important. Please give this video a thumbs up if you are interested in taking advantage of this chance. If you are prepared to take advantage of this opportunity, subscribe to get continued updates and leave a comment below with your opinions on Japan's XRP strategy. Exist you already in possession of XRP before the 15th of July? Do you intend to make any changes to your position? By sharing your experiences, you are helping to establish a community that is more robust, more knowledgeable, and better poised to ride the next wave of cryptocurrency innovation. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we will continue to provide you with more in-depth coverage of this groundbreaking event in the XRP ecosystem. It is only for educational and informative purposes that this movie is being provided. It is not advice on financial matters. Before making any decisions on investments, would you kindly conduct your own research and discuss your options with a financial advisor?